Right, welcome to the Start Collecting video. It's for Thousand Suns. It's the secret project that I've had running on the Plus channel, and over there I've been building up this army over time, and now the project is complete. The entire army's done. It's 2,000 points, and so in this video we're going to discuss collecting Thousand Suns. It's going to be a practical aspect of collecting them. This is the complete army just here, and then it'll be a showcase and a reference for you. I'm going to zoom in. We'll take a closer look at the models in this video as well. I'll just address some of the practical issues of collecting this Chaos Space Marines chapter. But I've very much enjoyed collecting these, I have to say. It was the colour scheme, the sculpting and the paint job that Games Workshop had done that impressed me initially. So we'll zoom into these in just a moment. So for Thousand Suns then, I was looking for something different to paint. I've got a lot of Imperial armies and so on. I haven't really got any Chaos faction. I looked around at all the different Chaos chapters that are out there, and see, what's put me off from Chaos is a lot of the models are old. The regular Chaos Space Marines are old, the Terminators are old. Yes, there's some new models here and there, but it's the entire range is very disjointed, in my opinion, very disjointed at the moment. I didn't want to invest in older models, and I looked at all the different colour schemes and wasn't so keen on them. And then I looked at Thousand Suns, and just the quality of the models, they're incredible. The Exalted Sorceress box set, which I have painted up here, Airmen as well, the regular Thousand Suns Chaos Space Marines, the Rubik Marines, are just beautiful models. They really are good. The Zangors look great. Terminators, very nice theme running with those. And so what I wanted to do was to take a showcase of the Thousand Suns specific units, and then where the list went, if I was going to add in some Chaos regular units like these Mauler Fiends here, to be able to paint, would they look good if I painted them up as Thousand Suns? So that was the idea with those, and I'm happy with how those have turned out. So I do have some sort of regular Chaos units in the army, but it's predominantly a showcase Thousand Suns force. So you've got access to these beautiful unique units for the Thousand Suns. So maybe you already collect Chaos, you want something radically different. You know, the colour schemes, there's not much out there that matches this. Very unique sculpting and the style. You've got this Egyptian theme going on, so the very, very strong theme going on with the Thousand Suns. Practically, painting wise, they do take a while. Sadly, they they take a while to paint. You know, your HQs, very intricate, a lot of detail. You could paint them up quickly, but to do them justice, it's going to take you a while to paint them up. The painting tutorials that I have on the Plus channel are designed to get nice results, but to some techniques to save you a lot of time. Especially the Zangors, the technique there, nice and quick. The Rubik Marines as well. The key is sort of the colours that you use to prime the model, and some of the techniques shown in that video there to help you get some effects pretty quick in order so that you can not spend forever painting them up. And I use that technique for the Zangors, and I managed to get 30 of those painted up in a few days of work, so pretty happy with the pace that I managed to get them done. Because if you look at the artwork for them on the boxes, again, they're very intricate, but you know, techniques that are fast enough can help you get your results. We'll zoom in now. There's a good spread of units to take a look at here, but I'll zoom in and try and give you a view of most of them. So, Occult Terminators here. This is the Aspiring Sorcerer. The big cape at the back, and the stave, that's actually a close combat weapon, and then the Inferno Combi Bolter here, 2 shots or 4 shots of in range 24. Just love the robes here, this linen coming down. It's not white, it's like an off-white colour just there, and I absolutely love the yellow-blue Egyptian style theme going on here. This rib work here and here, looking good. So you've got this blue and gold trim going on here. You can see it all the way around the model. So there's no real way that you can speed through that. It just has to be painted. But the techniques that I show in the painting tutorials, it's a quicker option for getting through that. But you know, by shading it all and painting it, I'll show you the process there, and it saved a lot of time. So it wasn't too bad painting these up. Did take a while. I'm not kidding you here. It takes a fair bit of effort. But, you know, I've gone for a spread of units. You are moving from one type of unit to another, which helped a lot. You know, if I had to paint 30 Rubik Marines, yeah, I'd struggle with that. But it was just a unit of 10 and then painted something else. This is the Hellfire missile rack there. Bit of anti-tank, anti-heavier target ability there, but you still get to keep your combi bolter. I did drill the ends out there with a very small drill bit on him. That's sort of the power sword. This is the famous Soul Reaper cannon. Nasty weapon on him. And then just your regular Occult Terminator. That's the standard loadout. So you've got your power sword and your combi bolts there. So it's compromised between firepower and close combat ability, and then a very well protected model. You know, 2 wounds, 2 up save, 5+ invuln save, and all that can be enhanced as well. So solid unit choice. Then we'll do Zangors here. So this is how they've come out. Happy with the results on these. So yeah, you've got the intricate gold and silver work. You know, you've got the plate that goes around the chest. You've got the fire plates there as well. You've got the intricate work here on these horns and the beak. There's the blue to cover, and you've got the different shades of purple and so on going on. So there's a whole rainbow of colours going on with these. But again, the technique, I got through them pretty quick, surprisingly quicker than I thought they would take. So that was encouraging. There's these orangey feathers, you know, another colour being introduced here, and this scowl armour here at the back as well. This is one of the Age of Sigmar style ones here with the shield and the sword. So I just say they represent Zangor blades, you know, and that can justify sort of the invuln save that the unit has. That's the Zangors. They're quite big, they're a big unit, a big model. Give you an idea. Now Rubik Marines are big, but look, you're on the same head level. So Zangors are that nice big size. They'll be head and shoulders above a guardsman. But that's another one of those. Then you've got the 40K bit that comes inside the kit. That's the chainsaw and auto pistol. So that's that option that's available as well. I've just done a mixed unit to represent either the blades or the auto pistols and chainswords. I'll show you a couple more. There's another one. I think this one could be the first one I painted actually. So this is the one I practiced on. Usually I'll paint, if I'm not sure about the colour scheme, I wasn't sure about these, I'll just paint one model right the way to the finish. And then if I'm happy with it, I'll then apply the technique. So I think this was the first one that I painted up. So that's him. So that's Zangors. So Rubik Marines then. This is your standard Rubik Marine. Here. So again, there's a lot going on. You've got all this gold trim and all of the blue to pick out. Here, look at the intricate detail on the backpack. In the tutorial I cover how to do these gems, how to get the nice gold effect with all of the shading going on, the washes used, the plate armour with the highlight that runs along the top, how to do the ghostly off-green markings there inside the bolter. That's picked out also. How to do these loincloths that drop down as well. That's all shown on the video also. There's a lot covered, a lot of techniques. Cover the basing and how to deal with that as well. I like the brown basing. It's come out nicely. I think it matches these because it's the whole sort of deserty theme. So I wanted a barren sort of wasteland for that. So that's him. Then inside that unit you get, this is the Warp Flamer. Looking like that. It's a bit of anti-horde, sort of close range firepower, bit of protection in Overwatch as well. Then I really love the way the colours have come out on this. This is the icon of flame, like so. I just copied that from the colour scheme in the artwork. And he's got the flamer also. And then the Aspiring Sorcerer. Yeah, he's like an HQ by himself. But this is just like the, the sergeant for the squad. But What a nice model. That's the cape there at the back there as well. So that's him. And they couldn't leave out the Soul Reaper cannon. A couple of skulls added on. Look at it. Deadly. So that's that one. Then I'll zoom out in a moment a bit more for some of the bigger models. So Exalted Sorceress then. There's all different combinations you can go for. In the kit you can go for different heads and arms and poses and so on. I chose this one here. Just love the look at that. Love the way that one's come out. And that abomination of an arm. It's the purpley arm with the orangey feathers. Just copied that off of the artwork as well. I really like the look of this guy, just advancing forwards, summoning all sorts of powers and telling the Legion to advance forwards. So there he is, and his cape's flowing. Just giving you a full view. These strange things here with the beaks. Strange models, but incredible sculpting work. These plastic kits are there. If there's one box set you're going to get for 1,000 Suns, it's the Exalted Sorceress. They are amazing. Really nice. So that's that one. Then I went for this one. Here, again, entirely different pose. Sort of levitating above the ground. That's the cape there at the back and the backpack. Different staff here as well. And all of these accessories there as well. A strange looking head. There's a book in there as well, a couple of skulls I added also. So that's him. And then, perhaps most famous so far, he's got up to all sorts of mischief in the different battle reports. But there's Disco Inferno himself. Crazy stuff going on. He's got 4 arms. Nope, 5 arms. 5. Yeah, 5 arms. And he's riding this disc here with this book coming up. That's the staff just there. And then these... See, it's the fire going on. So the Inferno here, and he's on a disc. So, you know, Disco Inferno is where the names quite quickly picked that nickname up for him as he went around the table. Or went out to spoil the party. With his, usually he runs around with the Mauler Fiends in this list. So there's bigger models here. So yeah, okay, so Mauler Fiends, this is the first one I painted up. This is the one for the in-depth painting tutorial on the Plus channel. So if you like the way this one's come out, I'll show you from start to finish how to paint this Mauler Fiend up. So just the Thousand Suns colour scheme, no problem at all. Gold trim, filled it in with the blue, same technique, just like painting a big Rubric Marine. Exactly the same colour scheme and process. And it looked a bit flat. I'd gone for a sort of a dead flesh kind of colour around here. And so the model looked a bit flat, so I wanted to add in some kind of other colour. I didn't want regular smoke coming out of here, I wanted something sort of unnatural looking. So I've gone for this green effect here. I'm really happy with how that's come out. But a very quick technique, actually. Didn't take too long at all. It looks like it's taken ages, but actually it's just a technique that's worked out really well. So then you've got the Lasher Tendrils option that I use. I think it's the most efficient, but that could change in future codexes and so on. So I magnetise them, just cut the ends off, level the ends off, stuck a magnet on here, and then buried a magnet inside there as well, and that just sticks on, no problem at all. So I've done that on both sides, like that. So, really happy with these Mauler Fiends. The other one, I'll just zoom out a little bit here. The other one I wanted to change the pose. I didn't want them looking both the same. So a simple thing to do is just to raise the model up, to have them looking up like that. This one's hunched over, which is fine. You know, they run across the board like that. And then this one here I've just raised up, put him on more onto his back legs, and then just took some rocks from outside and some spare bits from the Blood Angels kit. I just painted up the Librarian Dreadnoughts. I had some spare bits there and just smashed them up and put them on the front here. To show he's just smashed and torn apart a Dreadnought. You know, what could do such a thing? Well, a Mauler Fiend would happily do that. So there he is, just rising up on there. So these are just real stones from outside, just stuck on with super glue is a good glue to use. And again, magnetised here. And just following exactly the same technique for him. So there he is. And lastly, no, I'll show you Araman actually. I don't want to forget him. So there he is. Big model. You know, you take a Rubik Marine, which is a tall model, and look, that's the comparison. Aaron's a big size. I was nicely impressed by the size of this model here. There he is on the disc. Real nice. I love this effect come around here. This has actually snapped before, just here. I've had to super glue it and reinforce it as much as possible. It's quite fragile. That bit there, a lot of fragile bits, and this actually snapped off as well. And so I shortened the chain and then just stuck it on and glued it in as strong as possible. So I've had a couple of breakages on this one. Quite fragile, but there he is. Incredible model. Really, really nice model, and in plastic as well. Absolutely brilliant. So there he is. And on the channel here, there is a tutorial of how to do this desert basing. So look up that desert basing style. You'll see it there in the painting tutorial and terrain tutorial section on the channel homepage, and I'll show you how to paint and get that effect there, that desert effect, for whichever faction you want to paint. There he is. Finished. Yeah, the other one's just Demon Prince. So, yeah, it's just a one-off paint job here, but it did take a fair while. This model is, I didn't want to use the standard Demon Prince that you get in the 40K Chaos, so I wanted to look one up. I was looking around different options. I found this one here. I've always loved the model. When it came out for Tomb Kings years ago for Warhammer, and then Tomb Kings, they're no longer in production. This is an out of production plastic kit, so it's no longer available. You can't get it from Games Workshop. You have to try and find it second hand if you can. It is still out there, but it's expensive to get a hold of. I managed to ship mine in from America, from someone that already owned the model and had constructed it to the way you see it here, and I managed to purchase it, but it was expensive, but I think it's worth it. What a showcase unit to have here. And I sort of used some of the same colour scheme on the original Necro Sphinx colour scheme. It's, you know, it's the paint job on that is absolutely incredible, and then I've added in my sort of Thousand Suns colour scheme here to help this guy match in with the rest of the army. But same technique here as seen in the Wall of Fame, exactly the same technique for all the gold and the blue and the yellow and so on. But there he is. I'll just use the Demon Prince rules here for this model. You can get away with that in 40k. You can customize models and then bring them in and use stat lines for and so on. No problem at all. So I can just, he's got the two talons, which is represented nicely here, and it comes with wings. I've paid for wings for the Demon Prince, and that's nicely represented by those also. So happy enough that he fits in that slot nicely. So there it is. That's my Thousand Suns collection. I don't have any spare models. My 2,000 points list is exactly what you see here, and there's no other models painted up. So I've painted them, sort of carefully planned out the army and planned it from the very early stages and developed it. Units I wasn't sure about, I left off painting them and just painted up the units I was definitely sure I wanted in the list. It means that I've got no spare. I haven't wasted any time painting units I'm not going to use. So I'm pretty happy with how the list has come out. I hope it will do well. It's been in plenty of games already. Elements of this army has been in games already on the Plus channel. So this army is quite fragile. There's no doubt about that. There's some more solid elements here. The Terminators are pretty solid. The Morlothine's pretty solid. But the Zangors are fragile. I've already had some, not breakages, but some bent weapons, and that's not good for plastic. The Exalted Sorceress, a lot of fragile components on them. The Demon Prince as well, Aaron, I've had some breakages on him already, and I haven't really transported them anywhere. So that aspect, you've got to be careful there. Cost-wise, not too bad, sort of an average-sized army here. You could go a lot more elite by dropping the Zangors, for example, and that would shrink the army right down. So there's definitely the possibility of going for a very elite-based army. But I didn't want a small elite army to be picked apart. I wanted to have a screen, so I went for the Zangors just there. So I would recommend collecting Thousand Suns to someone who's already collected one or two armies at least. You've got some experience of collecting an army and finishing an army, because it's going to test your patience here. There's a fair bit of effort. This is an elite army, very intricate models here, and so if your painting skills aren't that great, you might want to start out by painting something more straightforward. Necrons, for example, Tyranids, armies that are quite straightforward to paint. You can just do one technique for them and get great results. It's great practice, and then your skills can increase. And this is something that's more of a challenge. I would put these up there with a challenge such as Harlequins, another army that's sort of at your higher end as far as being a challenge for painting is concerned. The last thing you want to do is invest in an army like this, and you're not that great at painting, and then you have a go and you make a mess of them. You're not happy with your results, and it ends in disaster. So you wouldn't want that happening. So I would say, if you're starting out with painting, try and paint a simpler army that you can get. There's some great techniques you can use to get some really nice results. And then yes, it's your first army, but the army still looks okay. And then years down the line, you can still use it and still be happy enough with it. So Necrons, Tyranids, great options for that. And then save these for when you've got some experience of painting behind you, because there's a lot of work involved. So I don't want to put you off, but be prepared. There is work involved. There's a lot of variety here, a lot of detail as well, and I think it's worth making the effort with these. The models are so nicely sculpted, it's worth making the effort to paint them up as best as you possibly can. In the game, the number of games that I've played with these, they're quite complicated in the game as well, because of the psychic phase being such a massive aspect. So you've got, it's as big as the shooting phase, if not bigger, for this Thousand Suns army. You're chucking out just as much damage potentially in the psychic phase, and it takes just as long almost as the shooting phase. So for that aspect of it, I wouldn't really call it a beginner's army either, because there's a lot of psychic powers all over the place, different cards, which psych has got which power, so it's not the simplest of armies to use. Necrons, on the other hand, for example, are a lot more straightforward. So just by way of comparison, so quite elite game-wise, quite elite for painting and practicality as well. So this is I'd recommend this army to someone who's been in the hobby for a while, got a couple of armies. Maybe you've collected Space Marines, you've used those for a while, you've used Eldar for a while, you want something different. This is entirely different here, and an army with a different shift, different challenge to trying to master the psychic phase. If you're a big fan of the psychic phase, then I'd recommend the Thousand Suns army to you for sure. So there it is, that's the Start Collecting video. I hope it's given you a flavour of what to expect and how you can expect the models to come out, but definitely a challenge for sure. There's no doubt about it, a definite challenge for you as far as painting is concerned, and also in the game also, but a great reward. Beautifully sculpted models from Games Workshop, the Exalted Sorceress set, Ahriman, the Rubik Marines, the Zangals, Terminators, all really nice kits, beautiful models, and so I'd heartily recommend them, but just be aware that they will be a challenge for you. So that's the video. Keep a lookout for these in various battle reports on the channel. Battle reports already on the Plus channel, painting tutorials, and the whole series, the whole project, all the different videos available on the Plus channel. But there it is, Start Collecting, Thousand Suns. The secret project is complete. Keep a lookout for them in battle reports in the future. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time.